The House will now consider the petition. I call the Attorney-General and Member for Vaucluse.
Thank you, Mr Acting Speaker. I wanted to welcome the local Watsons Bay residents who join me in the chamber here today. It's my first opportunity to do so, and in particular to welcome Roger Bayliss, Louise McElbogue, I believe, is with us, and Julie Bayliss, of course, who have been strong advocates on behalf of the local residents group, the Watsons Bay Resident Association. Welcome to my home, the Legislative Assembly of New South Wales. Mr Acting Speaker, I fully support this petition, and I'm pleased to address the important issues raised by those who've signed it. Before going into the details of the proposal and why I share the community's concern about its impact, let me emphasise that Watsons Bay is a peninsula of unique natural beauty in my electorate. Watsons Bay is a destination suburb. It is a peninsula. It is a tight-knit community and a quiet residential neighbourhood that generously shares their home with visitors, both local and international. As well as being one of the most picturesque places in Australia, Watsons Bay has a very special place in our nation's history. Aboriginal Australians from the Cadigal community camped and fished and collected shellfish around what is now Watsons Bay, and there are numerous carvings of animals, fish and people on the rocks overlooking the beautiful ocean and harbour. The first European landfall in Sydney Harbour occurred in Watsons Bay on the 21st of January 1788, when Captain Phillip and his party came ashore and camped overnight at Camp Cove on their way to settle a site for what is now Sydney. Today, South Head is known for its sheer ocean cliffs, its dramatic scenery and its rich military history. Watsons Bay is Australia's oldest fishing village and remains a thriving local inlet, popular for scuba diving, snorkelling, boating and swimming. With stunning views back along Sydney Harbour and gorgeous beaches, Watsons Bay is a special place to experience some of Sydney's finest harbour and coastal scenery. At Watsons Bay is the pilot station, which is now converted into a boating safety education centre, opened last year. The pilot station, since it existed since 1959, replaced a lifeboat station that was at the same site from 1907. This place has a long history of helping save lives at sea, and so the conversion of this heritage building into a centre for boating safety education was entirely appropriate, entirely apt. It is a unique and respectful way of honouring the important heritage of Watsons Bay and of that pilot station. Ms Acting Speaker, I am uncomfortable with the Gaff-Buck proposal, which has a plan for 6 buildings owned by National Parks and Wildlife to be refurbished and fitted out by Gap Bluff Hospitality for use as function centres, short-term accommodations and a restaurant. The residents and I share strong concerns that this proposal substantially increases the intensity of use for Gap Bluff, Camp Cove Beach and Greenpoint Reserve. This proposal, especially the restaurant planned for 32 Cliff Street near Camp Cove Beach, would negatively impact on the amenity for local residents and alter the low-key community atmosphere that has historically been identified in this very special area of Sydney, of New South Wales and of Australia. Amongst other things, there will also be inevitable increases in traffic in an area that already generously struggles with the impacts of visitors each and every weekend. Madam Speaker, as I said, I strongly commend Roger Bayliss as leader of the Watsons Bay Residents Association for his and others' tireless efforts in bringing Watsons Bay community together and articulately, generously, respectfully and forcefully representing their views. I did also want to thank my colleague, the Minister for Environment and the Minister for Heritage, the Honourable Mark Speakman, for meeting my local residents on a number of occasions to discuss their concerns, to hear their concerns, and for taking the time to visit with them and inspect the Watsons Bay area itself. Madam Speaker, Watsons Bay is truly a unique part of Sydney, of the state, of the nation. I will fight so its unique character and beauty is never compromised. I commend my statement to the House.